Last 2 years that have happened here in Lodgegrass, where it's escalated, and I guess it has to go back to water quality and water bills, especially in Lodgegrass here. We ended up having to shut off our water at the school, or not the school, but the Crow Tribal Housing Authority for Lodgegrass here was shut off because of water bills. I don't know if Mr. Ola's familiar with the city council here, so I think Attorney Berderwamp is, and they're really hard to work with. I think Crow Tribal Housing Authority representatives, the director, the former director, and I don't know if Mr. Olaf was there, but they tried to work with the city council. They've got a lawyer there that really sticks to his what he believes, and I think there's a little misdirection from him to the council members, but eventually the acting mayor ended up in jail. Water was shut off. Crow Tribal Housing came and turned the water back on. I've been to some of their meetings. I'm kind of jumping around right now, but I'll get to a point here. I've been to some of their meetings where they start arguing with each other, and they forget the whole subject of what's going on. It's a different council, different group of people here, but their main concern is always water bill. They forget about the water quality, and now we ended up losing our pumps. The whole tank eventually became empty. I don't know if anybody even has a housing authority even tested the water. Have you guys ever save the drink up there at the housing? That's a real big question. So there's some people that have passed on. I think because of this, I think that water quality escalated. What kind of sickness they had. A lot of them couldn't even take baths at the time the water was shut off. Then now the water was totally ran out of the tank. That should be a big concern to everyone. Right now, where is it? Over in Michigan, their water has a lot of lead in it. Lead kills. Gets in you and you're dead. We got to be concerned about all this because we got kids growing up that might have this in their system already. And that's my concern. Now this, in these meetings that I've gone to, I've gone afterwards. The following day, I've seen Attorney Berderwamp here. Their attorney said at that meeting, and I don't know why. Well, I know how it is because they're so impossible to deal with. And I got respect for all of them. I got relatives there that are on this council. In fact, the acting mayor is like my second cousin. But their attorney said that the housing attorney is agreeing to give the whole housing up on the hill the authority to the town. And I guess that's a question to you, Mr. Berderwamp. Was that ever true? Did it ever happen? Because it's got to be an act of Congress, I think, because that's tribally owned.
I'm not sure if I understand your question correctly.
Well, their attorney stated that he was close to getting agreement with you that the Crow Tribal Housing, the housing up here at Lodgegrass, was going to be given all the authority to the town of Lodgegrass for the water and sewer.
The Housing Authority and Town of Lodgegrass do have a memorandum use currently that dictates how each is going to work with one another, who's responsible for what, and what to do in case of non-payment, things of that nature. Notice. So that's in place. I don't know if that's exactly what you're.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Then it falls back to some people were talking about eviction, and that came up because of people not paying their water bill. A lot of these people up here, like let's say Carol over there, is on a fixed income. A lot of homes, there's even a house up there. It has 24 people in the one house. It's a 2-bedroom house. They're on a fixed income, I guess. They had this buyback, but I don't know if they tried to get any kind of housing with the buyback. Before that, they were on a fixed income. The water was raised to $75 from $50 a month. In fact, their attorney wanted it at $120 a month. Finally, one of the council members said, hey, let's back up here and go back to 75. But still at that 75, there was a non-Indian member that was at the meeting. She said, what is this $75 a month raise? What's it do for you guys? I said, pay bills. She said, I'm on fixed income. Who's going to pay my bills once I pay this $75? And that's where I'm coming from. Protecting these people. Protecting people in the town of Las Vegas on fixed income and water quality.
When you're talking about the tank going dry, is it you're talking about when it was shut off?
Well, it was shut off, and the housing authority, or the Crow tribe, I think, turned it back on.
Okay.
But now, here recently, both their pumps went out, and I don't know why they just didn't turn the water off themselves. But people used the water until it totally got empty up there, that tank.
That's about 3 months ago, huh?
3 months, yeah.
Just recently, right around Thanksgiving, there's when the water went out. And that was just recently.
Yeah.
Because I think that was about last part of November or first part of December. Your bill was $10,000.
You guys.
Your bill was $10,000. Housing paid $8,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because we have a memorandum agreement.
Okay.
There's no memorandum agreement. What we pay for it. But that was signed. We never told anybody. Is that something for us to say we're low on because it's not in our plan? So I had to go out there and amend my plan to say to come out and help us because we have over 100 houses rentals up there for that we use. So we paid that. And how those came from, I think you guys didn't even know that we paid for that water.
That's good.
Yeah, because I think it came almost close to a weekend, and we were working on that.
Yeah.
Because we bought a whole bunch of water that time.
Yeah.
Pallet, there's 48 cases to a pallet. We bought 2 pallets. It's 96 cases of water. We're going to bring it over, then we decide not to. And we only brought in a few of them to deliver to the homes. And I said, let's get this water pump. Let's get the pump fixed. So we wanted to buy a new pump, but they bought a contractor from Village City Model to repairs. And it's repaired. There's 2 pumps, they repaired both of them. So the other one's a backup. So we came in and we helped them. But I thought that we didn't need to talk about
Dennis, is this something that can be addressed within this housing ordinance? Or is this kind of a separate issue?
Water quality issues
within the ordinance?
you could probably address how the housing authority interacts with and relates to and creates agreements with outside governmental agencies like the federal government, the one stuff in the community, large grants.
Because see, this is what the purpose of this meeting is, that way.
Yeah.
And then maybe this is an issue that needs to be looked at within the housing ordinance to make sure maybe take a note of it and make sure that this needs to be addressed within the ordinance. Find a part of it and because that's the whole purpose of this meeting is to make sure that that there's not something that we overlook because this is an important issue.
it's, you know, a lot of my points just food for thought, you know.
Well, I think we should go, because
Yeah.
that's what we need to know, that's
Yeah.
the whole purpose of this meeting.
Yeah.
And if that way, within this ordinance, maybe there's something that we can address in there, like,
Yeah,
and it's, but it's really, it's brought it up, because, that way, like with this MOA, that way we can, make sure, that way they have their tools too, like, that way they have tools to work with within their housing store ordinance, and, that way they do it like, fully like, look at it,
Yeah.
right, what's up, with that.
yeah. People with lawn grass, you know, man, go to the city council meetings, you learn a lot. Ask for past minutes. I've requested minutes since April, and they haven't given me any minutes at all. I've been requesting. They just do what they want to do. It's even though you guys are at the housing, you can't vote for the town. You're still using the water that's supplied by the town. So you guys need to go down to their meetings because nobody goes.
I got one real quick. I was wondering if the attorney or the director can answer his question about lead. Or if you ever tested it for lead, or because I live there, all those boys do with me over there. If they're gonna be, you know, exposed to that, then I gotta know.
I think the water quality people should do studies or testing on water. This is a good way to do that. But my son was doing that, he was talking about that, he was testing water in the road. He's in Boulder now, he's back in Colorado. He said it's easier to do like testing water. It's supposed to happen if it's written. I remember when I did in house service, I think water quality. How do we do that?
Well, the reason I was asking which time he was talking about, because when it first got turned on during the whole dispute, tried to turn it back on, it was tested after that. It was the Solid Water and Wastewater Authority went in and tested it and verified that it was clean. And I think they, I believe they were supposed to notify everybody or the subdivision after they tested it. But they tested it at the source and then at the faucet and multiple different places. Said that it was clean. They never said anything on lead at this time. I mean, I don't know how lead contamination works, but I feel like it was in the pipes when we tested out the first time. But the city, because the town runs all the water, they have their own. They have to follow pretty strict federal and state testing requirements. All the water that comes from the subdivision comes from the city. I'm sure that they test it. I don't know what their schedule is. That's the regular.
Maybe this is something that could be addressed within that water code, water protection code also.
Yeah, I like that. I've seen that water code that needs to be added in.
It might be already addressed there, so we'll have.
One more thing, like we're addressing the ordinance right now, and you know, one thing that we can put in there since Justin was anything the housing does, like their MOA. Like I didn't know they had an MOA with the city. That's something that we should know. I think, and put in there, you know, subject to legislative approval. So I didn't know he paid $8,000 for that pump. If that was in there, you know, we would have known you guys would have known. You know, just stuff like that. So what we're trying to go over. Same with like I said, the drugs and everything that's in there. You know, we're going over this housing ordinance because 77 was a long time ago, and you know, just different kind of things we can add in there. Like as a good example is maybe we can put in there that they have to give us the MOA so we can review it. But that's just an example.
You guys are pretty busy. We don't want to bother you with something that's pretty minor and ourselves.
Basketball, and
I got a question. You know, the math that issue keeps coming up. What's the legislative body doing to help the problem? I know a lot of things, it seems like it gets pushed on housing, to police people, to bus people for drugs, stuff like that.
Right now, it's not a legislation in committee, but it is a topic that is being discussed in the judicial, with the chairman. Right now, we've had a few meetings already on that, but it's a legislation that is going to be introduced here in the very near future. The chairman we talked about it this past session, and this issue is very important because it's going to really hit hard on some issues, and when it does, we might get some repercussions, but that's what it takes to start, the road to recovery.
So I'm kind of thinking along those lines, it gets suggested a lot, housing, you should do this about the math, and all this and that, but I think that needs to be taken care of first before we can even do anything else.
Yeah. Like what I told Daryl, I said,
Like I said, it comes down to eviction, stuff like that, and then it turns into a political thing, and nothing happens, and then it looks like we're not trying to do anything then. But I think in order to be effective, the judicial side of things needs to be set in place first, and you guys can fall back on the feet.
like I just told Daryl, on my other issues, kind of basically the same thing. We have to make sure that we have a law that protects you, and make sure that we have a policy that you can fall back on. In other words, backbone for you that supports you, and what the actions that the housing authority takes, or law enforcement, or the public.
And that kind of falls on the chairman too. He's introduced the bills to us, and we can get that done in days, the public notice, in the special session. So I mean, that's an issue. Maybe we can try to talk to the chairman about it, because we met with him a few times. He's brought it up. He wants to make it more strict on meth users. But like Clint said, it's going to be come fast since we do it.
Like people want certain laws, and when we do pass them, they cry around and say, "Why did you do this?" or "Why are you doing that?" We have to. You're not trying to compromise, but yet you have to do certain things to make sure it's the best interest of the tribe. Let's say, for instance, truancy. People always talk about how the kids are in school and stuff. We passed the truancy law, and then now. Not now, but when it was first enacted, people started complaining, "Why did you guys make it so strict?" All we want is the kids have an opportunity to get an education.
And another thing is, we can pass the best law there is. We can draft it up. These guys can draft it up. The attorneys can look at it. Has a strong wording there. Once it becomes law, is it going to be enforced? Falls on executive to enforce it. It's like truancy. Curfew is law, but we're still seeing these kids out there running around. There's no one enforcing it, so that it kind of goes both ways there. So
There's two laws that we passed that are, you might think they're minor, and, you might not even know that they've been passed, but they have been. Like they're minor in a sense, but yet they're a public safety issue. Is we passed dog ordinance, but nobody knows about it because it's not being enforced. You don't want to pack a dog and go hurt some kids. That was the whole purpose of passing that law. Another one is junk vehicle abatement. Nobody wants their car out of there. So it's my tool shed or my spare parts or whatever. One thing laws, and then they do pass it. They don't want to enforce it. I'm guilty of that. I have a dad over there that's like, "Oh shit." The hand back there.
Your dog ordinance and junk vehicle ordinance, were they updated from the last time you guys passed them? ones to send to our tenants also. Cause we follow both of them, and we do send them to people with vicious dogs, and people with a lot of truck vehicles, but like you said, when we try to go and take vehicles, a man or a woman is standing there saying, I just need to put in gas, or I just need to put in a battery. And it's been sitting there for 20 years.
It could be office our staff to copy the ordinance. Is it a-
Well, what kind of here, that's supposed to have, Rottweilers, Dobermans, pit bulls,
or mix, even if they're mixed with the leash.
Yeah.
They have to be in a leash. They have to be in a leash or an enclosure, like a fence yard. Make sure
you
they're
use,
not-
what's called the Dobermans, and not them at all. We do utilize Texas, program where he has a dog picture, and we have called upon him, and he brings out his dog picture, where he brings out the, fish stuff. Well, when one of our coworkers got attacked, so had no choice but to call.
I just like to make a comment first off about, a lot of people using that, and the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch are all working together to, I guess, conquer the left power of the legislation. And I believe we should be looking at these branches as a community, work together to, fight the left problem that we have in our communities. Earlier, we talked about neighborhood watch. Maybe we should do that also in this community.
What do you think, Marcela? We passed the legislation to support neighborhood watch in fire and backlash. But they're not gonna work unless the community is the one, unless it comes from the grassroots. It's the community that has to take action on those, for those to work. So like you said, we can pass all of them one, but the community doesn't come together and try to act on it, it's not gonna work. It's the community that has to take action. And neighborhood watch has to start from the community, not from us, legislators, but it has to come from the community. The community has to know that takes action. So we need to God. And then we can pass all the laws we want, like we said, but nobody takes action. It's gonna sit there. I think that's it for the housing part, so thank you, John. Good.
Hello, yeah.
Because if it's all of you, then it's not gonna be anything in the house. It's gonna be the output of a lot of
Gotta go back to housing. Hold on, Dennis. Thank you, all for coming out and listening. We'll have a meeting again, we wanna have another meeting next month, with Victor and Bryson talk about it, not on the health issue, but other issues like this, in the community, they got.
I think that's a good idea.
Visual as much as during the day, it was a meeting. We were at this casino, housing, does, I don't know, there's no police. Well, if they call someone, they just pay like 2 pictures, and then you stay straight with issues.
It wouldn't make sense. There's a lot of this stuff is like team stuff. Make stuff
Yeah. Oh, I really do. Yeah, that's. Sometimes it's good for everyone.